last week before the Tech game, it was announced that you got a 1-year extension to your original contract. I guess, what did that mean to you to have that happen?
Well, it's very humbling and appreciated to Travis Goff and Chancellor Gerard that they've seen some of the progress that we've made in the program as a staff and everything. This is again continue to work towards stability and building this program the right way, and it's things that we've talked about of time sometimes, and of not like the time it'll take, but the time to maintain stability and do it the right way, and the time of the hire, as we know, was very unique, and so all those things are greatly appreciated, and to announce it before we kicked off is good, because it ends a little bit of speculation that some of you all may have and things like that, and we get to go back and doing what we need to do.
How did it come about from your perspective? Like, who approached you about it?
Well, where that came, there's been, those were discussions sometimes just in the holistic view that took place a little bit during the interview process, but more a couple casual conversations, and shoot, I don't even remember what day it was that Travis was in my office. Might have been, it was one of our practice days. It might have been Sunday or something. Saturday or Sunday, he came in and we were talking. I was about to head to a staff meeting, and he said, "Well, just hold on a minute." And we talked about a couple things, and then at the end he goes, "We're going to add a year to your contract." And that's about how it went. And I went on to the staff meeting and thanked him, and then communications and other people handled when it was released.
To kind of build off that, is that something that you bring up on the recruiting trail, talking to prospective players?
We've talked about our stability through the years. I think, we've talked about that since we arrived, and, with our staff and the amount of people that have worked together, and that continuity and stability is something that we have talked about. And I think, this extension will give us something else to kind of add to in that. Yeah, I think that is, when you're looking at what this program has gone through, those are good signs to the locker room, recruiting, fan base, anyone that's affiliated with this or could be at some time of their life. I think that's all good. And majority of us, I think in our group, I don't think we have a lot of job hoppers on our staff. That's not how I've gone about my thoughts in hiring. Most of the time is sometimes you end up in situations where a guy will be with you for a year or two, but holistically, you look at my career, we've been able to matriculate recruiting classes through, okay? You don't see that very much anymore. Okay, you don't. It's not 10 jobs in 14 years or something like that. We're gonna look at it, and that's kind of where it's always been in our mindset.
And going back to Friday, then, now that you've had the chance to look at the film again, what do you feel like you learned about your team after game one?
Things that we're hoping to see, that we have good depth. Within the drop, or I say between the guy who maybe went out there first, the guy that went out second, we've got some good things there. We handled our business in a game that, in all respect, we're Tennessee Tech's in a building process themselves, and that was a game that we probably should have handled it and didn't let that get away from us, or play through it the way we needed to, I guess is the best way to say that. So I appreciate that approach to us. We generated those bigger plays. We created, you saw what Lonnie was able to do, a lot of things there that kind of played off each other. So, and then of course in coaching, true coaching fashion, we saw plenty of things that have to improve. And those are being addressed already, and we'll continue to do that. I come to my own little deal. Whoever this Sirius XM in Topeka, stop calling me, okay? I'm not taking your call, okay? You call like twice a day.
Coach Neil Brown had kind of a passionate message on Twitter for their fan base about losing a rivalry game and how much they'd invested in it. How difficult is it to be in that spot where, especially the first game of the year, playing a rival, to be able to turn the page as a program, forget about what just happened in the bad, and go forward?
Well, I'm not in their shoes per se, but that was a big game that they hadn't played in a long time, and there's a lot of positives to that by playing on Thursday night. Probably great energy, focus, and emotional energy can be spent, and but it was a Thursday game, and now we play on Saturday, so young men across the country are pretty resilient. Okay, so I think, and then to follow it up with a conference game probably the next best thing to grab a team's attention. I'm more focused on what we need to do. I know Neil is, we played him obviously last year. We competed against him when he was at Troy. He's an outstanding coach. He's an outstanding offensive mind, and they've done a good job, making additions to their program, and I know he'll have them ready Saturday night.
JT Daniels played at USC, played at Georgia. He's their starter now at quarterback. Donaldson was listed at tight end and played running back and blocked a punt, had newcomer of the year honors in the Big 12. So he was probably a surprise to Pittsburgh, but after watching him on tape for a game, what were your observations on CJ?
Pretty nice, what do they say, first time playing in college football. It's a pretty big, first start. Obviously if they listed him there and played him in other spots, not only for a freshman, can handle a lot. He's very talented at special teams, big body to tackle. He's a special athlete that obviously they did a great job evaluating and getting him there, and I'm sure they'll continue to find ways to utilize him, and that's going to be a challenge for us anytime you have someone with that type of athletic ability, along with, you mentioned JT Daniels, a very experienced. He's been through a lot of things in his career, and experience environments won't bother him. He's back in an offensive system in which he started his college career, so you can see it on film, very comfortable in that, and you can see they're operating at a pretty good level. And that was quite a football game that could have went either direction Thursday night.
Lance, you mentioned grabbing their attention with a conference game. Same for you guys, obviously. And Friday night after your win, there were a lot of guys in here, your guys, talking about, yeah, but that's next. Yeah, but that's next. Did you emphasize that in the offseason leading up to that, or was that them, or where did that come from?
There were some guys in the locker room I was very impressed with, even some guys who don't speak up a whole lot, that were very much in that mindset right away, and that's a great sign of maturity and understanding, and that let's celebrate this, let's enjoy this, but yes, there's more to come, and there's more that's going to happen, and the challenges are going to increase in a lot of different ways, by leaps and bounds here very quickly, and to see that is encouraging, really is, and it's and we have to maintain that mindset as we go through, because this is a challenging schedule that we have to be ready for each and every week.
You made it clear that you're a big believer in you play who's on your schedule. Would you rather have a couple more, non-conference games to kind of work the bugs out before you jump into conference play, or does it matter? And I guess what are the advantages and maybe disadvantages of doing it this way?
I wasn't here for scheduling and things like that, and where things play out. Somebody asked me this last night. And I said, well, you struggle to fit your schedule non-conference wise, and you're looking for different things. And sometimes when you fit the three, you had to go into week 4 maybe. So then you have to look at, now, would I rather play, right now, standing here before all of you, I'd rather play a conference game week 2 than have an open week and then go 10 more weeks. So by playing this game and having that open week later in the year, I think is beneficial. So, do you want to go on the road week 2 to a conference game, probably how many do you grab, right, our furthest travel right now currently, and all those things are not, for a night game, and then not to get ahead of ourselves, to get back late and then go play another, that's not ideal, but, we have to do it, and we'll handle it. I mean, and now we just gotta find a way to go out and play well.
What's the biggest point of emphasis for your guys in the jump in competition from week 1 to week 2? What they're going to need to take care of?
Attention to detail, physicality, being ready to, we talk about, especially on their offensive side, the weapons, the size, physicality, within the line, both lines. Defensively, they've upgraded. I say upgraded, they've added transfers. I mean, you look at, people talk about what we've done. They've done a great job utilizing the portal as well. So, when you're playing game 12 a year ago, it doesn't really equate to the pieces that we're going against. We mentioned a true freshman and a former 5-star quarterback that's transferred in, let alone about 5 defensive starters. So that's a different football team, and we've got to prepare for that. And Devin didn't play the last game last year. There's some different pieces to us as well, and we've got to be able to go out there and execute.
You mentioned